Hello, all you rando fans out there, and welcome to this SpeedGaming presentation of the Link to the Past Randomizer Invitational League. We are in Week 7, the final week of the regular season, and we have a match tonight between Pass the Potence, featuring the runners James FNX and Fibonacci, aka PH, and Risky and Terrible Gambits, featuring the runners BDI and Simple Clips. I am Mayan DM. You may have heard me earlier today while I was commentating a different race, but this time it's not Gilgamesh joining me in the booth, it is Drossi, who I have not gotten to commentate with in a little while. Drossi, I hope you are doing well this evening.
Hello there. Yes, I am doing well. I hope you are as well. Thank you for your double duty.
Well, we ran into a couple of games that I wanted to commentate both of, and my schedule was was willing to cooperate with all of that. So here we go. Pass the Potence was a team that made the Open League playoffs last year. My team put an end to their run, but they then got called up anyways. We needed a couple of teams to fill out the invitational roster. And Risky and Terrible Gambits was not just a team that I faced last year. They were in my team's division, so I've played these guys a couple of times. Plucky underdogs, willing to take the risk of putting themselves out there in Invitational League when we needed again to fill out the roster a little bit. Both of these teams have had a bit of a season, as you can see by the point totals next to their names. We are in Week 7, you get 3 points for a win. Each team has 3 points.
Yes, so this series is in fact a relegation series that the loser of the series will be relegated back to Open League after this season, unfortunately.
And if I understand the tiebreakers correctly, Risky and Terrible Gambits needs to take both of these. They cannot split and have some weird tiebreaker thing go in their favor. I'm pretty sure that Potence has the tiebreaker.
That is correct. Potence does have the tiebreaker if the series splits. But it's also worth noting we had a series like this in Season 3 between Team Hime and Major Mistakes. Oh, there's our first map check. Red pendant at Desert and regular crystals, it looked like, at Eastern and Hera. But yeah, Team Hime and Major Mistakes had a series like this in Season 3. Team Hime needed to take both matches to not be relegated, and, well, look at Team Hime this season. They are well on their way to playoffs.
Team Hime had themselves a bit of a sticky season last season, but this season's gone really well for them.
Yeah, last season they went 4-10, and this season with exactly the same roster, I think they're leading the division, maybe second. I haven't checked in a moment.
It's almost as if there are small sample sizes happening in a game that we've randomized.
Imagine that, yes. Even 14 games is a pretty small sample size. And we should note that there was conveniently a sword in Link's house. Both teams are aware of this. James actually went back for it after PH told him. BDI hasn't gone for it yet.
It's one of those things, if you're going to be the player who's going to rummage around in the village for the next 2 or 3 minutes, you don't necessarily need it, and then you're probably safe quitting to the house to head for your next destination anyway. But by the same token, there is the guard shack, aka chicken hut, where, well, you never know quite what's going to be in there in Randomizer.
Though PH seems to have done fine in there.
Again, speaking of these two teams and having to sort things out in Week 7, we've got kind of that great equalizer of modes. With Randomizer, it's sometimes less about what does your execution look like than how do you handle things that you're not expecting.
And with logical Randomizer, all the more so, because you could have a room logically locked by red mimics, red Igors, in any dungeon. Yes, dead rocks, which you would need Quake or a magic powder to get through, but we have found Quake, so... We can deal with
And
dead
red
rocks.
baris, which you would need some kind of a burn source for, either Bombos or the Fire Rod.
Well, that's only if they have an item drop. If you're simply
True.
trying to get through a kill room, you can kill them the normal way.
We have run into a little bit of that this week. There was one of the two games in the Two Pearl matchup where Two Pearl got into Turtle Rock, and I think it was Oase was having trouble with the red Bari holding the key before Chomps. But the logical randomizer does put a little bit of a different spin on it. It does have its own little uniquenesses to it that we've mentioned most of them. I'm sure we'll see some of the interesting enemy placements further on down the line. We may or may not get the statue in the mire entryway. That one was kind of fun.
Oh, and I did not see where the Master Sword was, but our top two runners now have 2 swords apiece. And yeah, those anti-fairy clusters, as we're seeing in Uncle Tunnel, are kind of annoying. You probably just have to take some damage going through. And hello, Hookshot and Lamp in Mini Moldorm Cave. Wow.
Okay, well, show us a glove and we can go up the mountain for a whole bunch of things.
Yeah, looks like Simple Clips is about to get over to Mini Moldorm Cave and find the same rich trove.
Doesn't seem to have landed on that second sword that everybody else has, I don't think.
Yeah, as I say, I missed where it was. And hey, the nice thing about Mini Moldorm Cave and Enemizers, some of the enemies can just be knocked into the pits.
Just dump them into the pit, makes life easy. Ooh, Simple Clips taking a hit from something there on the overworld. I just saw the screen turn red.
Yeah, and so here's Logical Enemizer at work. The top 2 runners got stuck at the boomerang chest in the front of Escape because there was a red mimic and they don't have a bow to get out of that room. And I believe they also need the key dropped from that red mimic to progress to Zelda Cell anyway.
Yes. So we already have an item locked away behind having a bow. That'll be fun.
Not surprising that the top 2 runners have been told by their teammates to go to Mini Moldorm Cave after what was there. PH giving us some new information, went to Aegina, but it was just a big 20. We also have knowledge of all 3 medallions at the 8-minute mark.
Yeah, one less thing to worry about.
We also have blue mail, and we just found red mail on Desert Ledge. I don't think PH is... Well, actually, in Enemizer, you might grab red mail, just to be safe.
I'd certainly be tempted.
In anything but Enemizer, I don't think you grab it on Desert Ledge.
No, probably not. BDI getting to that Ice Rod cave check that Simple Clips was unable to get to. It doesn't seem to have hurt any. Just some bombs there.
Vanilla small key on the Desert Torch. This is a boot start mode, mostly because it's fun to charge headlong into who knows what.
Into rollers and Lionels and whatever else.
And get hit by bunny beams, as PH just did, and kind of interesting that he couldn't pass through that door until the bunny beam wore off. I didn't know that was a thing. And James now in Eastern. Looks like BDI is heading there as well. So this will be new information. Ah, the other sword was Cackwell, okay.
That would do it.
PH debating, decides not to go all the way over for the red mail.
It is a reasonable sort of thing. You still don't have the mirror, so increasing the time that a potential death warp might take to warp around inside of a dungeon, yeah. You're kind of balancing that in Randomizer versus, well, I'm about to go do Dark Cross, and sometimes Dark Cross and the room right before it are absolutely hideous in Randomizer, and I may regret my decisions here in about 30 seconds.
Good thing we had that early lamp, because doing these dark rooms without the lamp in Randomizer is even more hideous.
That's less hideous and more terrifying. It can't really be hideous if you can't see it.
Hello, Hinox, or Hinox.
And a Lionel.
And just a big 20 there. Yeah, still no sign of that glove that you were talking about that would sure be nice to have.
We may be getting down to one of those unfortunate points where you have to bite the bullet on Aga with Pearl.
That's true. There is nothing stopping us from doing the climb, but James, with BDI behind him, are heading to the Eastern Palace Vanilla Big Key chest, so we're running out of stuff, but this is definitely in logic. And it's the map. Oh, but right, we can go to the boss as long as there isn't something locking us on the way, because it's not
entirely possible.
Not necessarily bow required.
Could be something else required. Could be Quake required, but we have that.
And it's a crystal, so we're gonna need to do it eventually. Nice use of Bombos by James. James, you want Quake. There you go. Yeah, so, as we were saying, one of those dead rocks does have the key, and there you go. So, that Quake was logically necessary since we don't have the powder.
Fancy a Beamos and a Lionel in the first room out of the dark in Eastern Palace? Why not? James, you do still have to step on the switch. Ooh, this is a little spicy, actually.
He's got 6 hearts and blue mail.
Yeah, he got there.
BDI, does he not have magic, or did he not realize that you can beat a dead rock with Quake? He has magic, so he must just not have known.
Magic.
That's unfortunate. Because, yes, Quake absolutely puts that room in logic. Ooh, nice full magic decanter as the drop after Bombos there. And we just have Mothula. This is going to be a joke.
The moth is not difficult. The moth's room is difficult. You put something else in the moth's room, it's even worse. But you take the moth out of its room, and it just kind of dies.
It's just kind of sad when Mothula isn't in his room with all the spikes to protect it.
Ooh, BDI was doing some water walking shenanigans there and water walked right into a roller.
And hello fetch quest as Moth gives us the mushroom, which is almost certainly our progression. And it's unfortunate that Risky and Terrible Gambits doesn't know about what Quake puts in logic. Because it seems like that's what the game wants us to do. Might be what we have to do. Might be hard required.
That's possible.
Where's James off to? No, you can't go to the Dark World. Oh, right, using the portal.
It's just going to use the whirlpool to turn the mushroom in.
Yeah, that's the fastest way there without the flute. Not something you usually see outside of Cross Keys, or another entrance mode.
That particular usage is a little more common, but still, sometimes you're just turning in the mushroom on the way, or you have the flute, or any number of other reasons why you might not see it.
And hey, there's the Jawbreaker, which means this probably is an Agaseed.
That could be a substantial problem for Risky and Terrible Gambits.
I mean, they're gonna run out of stuff soon enough. But, yeah, then they're gonna have to figure out the whole Quake and Deadrock situation.
That, I think, is going to be the problem, that we're going to wind up having the Stare of Destiny, as they both wonder, what have we missed? And the answer is, we've missed a logical component of having a medallion, which is not really something that you think about normally.
Right, I mean, and even then, like, if you're thinking about beating Deadrocks, most people think about Powder, they don't think about Quake.
Mm-hmm. And I think both of them are in a mindset right now where they think their next piece of progression just has to be on Aga, and we're seeing both of them make the Aga play, which it still looks like is going to be 100% required anyway. They're going to have to do this. So it's not as though they're going to lose time, it's going to be what happens afterwards that is going to determine quite a bit of this game, I think.
Right, because probably there isn't anything on Pyramid Ledge, so they're gonna have to find that Moon Pearl.
And even if there was, it really can't unlock all that much. They could get a hammer or mirror and gain access to Tower of Hera. But that or a fetch quest is pretty much the size of it, I think.
I mean, I guess a glove, right?
Glove gets you into the back of Escape for a couple of checks, yeah?
Okay, I don't think PH has enough magic to bombos the next room like James did, so he's gonna have to fight his way through. But he does have sword beams, that helps.
Yeah, a combination of sword beams and hookshot, kind of getting the job done here, it looks like. Meanwhile, both of RTG are out of the dark, although James is still leading this pack of 3 players running through... Oh, okay, so there was a Deadrock here, too, so the Risky and Terrible Gambits is very quickly going to reach the point where they have to figure out, yep, how you handle that. which
Okay.
should clue them into the fact that they can also do that in Eastern to pick up the key.
I hope it clues them in.
It's the same enemy. One would hope.
Otherwise, it is a very risky and terrible gambit not good to go that way.
That Kibo was absolutely bodyguarding the door. Simple Clips was just, well, I can body it once and wait, and then I just wait. Waiting is gonna work.
Well, how bad of a blue ball's going to be today? We've already seen 2.
Now we have statistical average, and now we don't anymore.
By the way, shoutouts to our trackers Darak Sharna and Talon. Even though we now have the layout to pick up the runner's own trackers, it sure looks a lot nicer when we have people actually doing the tracking and we can lay it out this way.
When we have a little continuity of trackers.
Yeah, all looks the same, it's readable, you know. And I believe that's the 3rd lightning that we have 7 blue balls here.
Well, it's a required Aga kill, and when you know it's a required Aga kill, at least you can say, well, buddy, you know, our opponents have to do it too. At least we're not stuck in some kind of a strange position where we've made a mistake.
And risky and terrible gambits are gonna figure this out very quickly when they see that junk on the pyramid ledge.
This is going to be a bit of an ordering advantage for past the Potence, though. Having that Moon Pearl in hand means they can just go ahead and start doing Dark World things.
What's funny is, without a glove or a hammer or the flippers, we can't actually use that hookshot to get to West Dark World, and Pot is our only play.
BDI with the Sank start here. Is there something that
Yeah.
RTG still has on the side of the world that we've just forgotten about? Did they maybe not check Aga, so they're splitting up and one of them's checking Lumberjack Ledge? And
Yeah, they might not have checked Lumberjack. And yeah, Simple Clips, you still don't have the glove, you can't go into Eastern the back way. Nothing like a blind pull of Lumberjack. Now, Pod still hard requires the hammer and the bow in order to beat it.
Yes.
But you don't necessarily need the bow to get up the right side, so we could actually do quite a bit of the dungeon without hammer or bow.
Of course, it is still Pod. It's still going to be very front-loaded with small keys because it has to be, logically. Looks like PH has won the Aga hook speed wars.
That's a pretty good Aga hook speed. I'll grant that. So Simple Clips is now here, has figured out that you need to use Quake in this room. Gets the small key, gets a fairy even. And yeah, James is kind of stuck without the hammer, so he's just death warping.
Just having all the fun suffering through exactly what everybody else has already suffered through.
And Simple Clips is on the moth. Gonna get their mushroom. Oof.
James got a little bullied there.
Yeah, you can't count on what's gonna be on Hammer Yump Bridge in Randomizer. BDI, watch out. There you go. The seed's sure giving us plenty of money for when we finally get to Zora. But I think these Dark Maze checks are the last thing we have left, right?
I think so.
Okay. Okay, game, sure. So the glove is probably sending us to Death Mountain because it still doesn't give us Dark World access outside of Agaport, although I guess it could send us to West Dark World combined with the hook shot.
It at least makes for a nice way to split things up. We'll probably see Back of Escape here first. 3 quick checks, just go ahead and snag those really quick.
Simple Clips remembering that they don't have anything to get past that block to get to either Catfish or West Dark World. Hey, we can steal that small key from Back of Escape and go to Zelda's cell now.
Yeah, we could, but then you're hard isolating Boomerang Chest, and that sounds like a horrible idea. Let's go do one terrible one-off check to create another one. No, I don't think so.
Well, no, the bottom runners have done Boomerang Chest already. That they got stuck there. That was the whole thing.
Ah, yes.
So PH, knowing that he just needs the glove, is going to hammer Yump over there. Though... Oh, Pod is a pendant, so we might not need to beat it. I was like, but we still need to get the big key, but no, it's a pendant. We might not.
That start back at the house, it does seem like we're going to see that Aga portal put to use, and PH is going to hookshot across into Western Dark World and show us a whole bunch of new things.
As you were saying, a great thing about co-ops and 2 runners in 2 different directions. Oh, there's Cape sitting in Spec Rock. Probably want to grab that in case there's something on Bumper Ledge.
It's the kind of thing that PH is going to find out soon, but not soon enough that James doesn't want to just pick this up while he's here.
And PH is also going to check Catfish before he goes over to West Dark World.
Have to love that force of habit, Bonk.
Yeah,
There's no
you're
mirror. Even if there was, you weren't really planning to mirror there anyway.
Right.
So why set up the quick warp? Well, because it's muscle memory. You do that all the time. At least when you're PH and you're a big major league NMG runner.
Yeah. If anything, he plays more NMG than Rando these days. Okay, first look at Paradox Cave with its 7 checks. And after that, all we have is Spiral Cave up here. Okay, our 5-6 crystals are Ice and Skullwoods. And I did not catch the green pendant. Did you?
I did not. $20. Yeah, close. Money, and just a little love. Not a whole lot out of 7 items in Paradox Cave.
And there was just some money on Bumper Ledge, so we don't need the cape for that. It's always possible it could be our logical access to Spike Cave, though we would still need a bottle or half magic for that. And, of course, a hammer.
And a hammer, yeah. We do have Blue Cane, which does not require the magic extension, though. Or at least James has it.
True, I forgot about that. Yes, that was an Eastern Big Chest. Surprised PH didn't want it, since the other 3 runners seem to have gotten it. So that one was a total wash. We're going into Thieves. Again, the big chest is still locked behind the hammer. So that could affect what we do in here. But also, in Randomizer, you usually just rush the boss anyway, and there are the flippers in the front of Thieves.
Okay, I don't know that that changes a whole lot for us just yet. We've seen some water walk shenanigans to get the overworld checks out of the way that those would otherwise enable.
That is a lot of Lionels.
That is a bloody awful lot of Lionels.
PH down to half a heart here. Ooh! PH takes a death right before crossing to the screen with the vanilla big key chest. And decides to nope out. Oh, James got a bottle somewhere. And the fairy's giving copies of herself.
Okay. Certainly not going to turn that down in Randomizer, and you'd like it better if you had the mirror so that it doesn't interfere with your next death warp, of course.
Oh, wait a minute. I don't think we saw that glove on Zorledge when... I thought Risky and Terrible Gambits went over to Zora while they were water walking your fake flippering. But... yeah, those flippers give us mitts.
Okay.
That's kind of important.
That seems pretty good.
Oh, the bottle was in back of escape. Okay. Looks like James is going to check Zelda's cell. Nope, no, he's just
No,
using the
this is
portal.
just the
Never mind.
this is just the portal after Aga.
I forgot we had that portal.
Oh, BDI playing Hug the Lionel with those boots.
When our trackers are saying that it was Thieves Town that's the green pendant. That makes sense. There was a P in Thieves Town and... Ooh, Ice Rod. And Samaria in Hype Cave. There is a Trinex somewhere in this seed. It's full boss shuffle. Every boss must appear at least once.
There can be exceptions to that. They are uncommon. It has to do with invalid placements. Certain bosses cannot go in certain arenas, and so replacements can be made in those cases.
Okay, I didn't know how the Doors
Now,
randomizer handled that.
Well, it may be different on Doors in point of fact. For personal reasons, I was not involved in practicing for this season, so yeah, that is a good point. I'm not necessarily familiar with all of the intricacies of the logical inimizer on the Doors branch.
I mean, there are certainly the same restrictions, like a Moldorm arena can only have Moldorm, Moth, Helma, Cold Stare, or Vidi. That's just because, you know, the game just messes up too much if you try to put any of the other bosses in a Moldorm arena. And likewise, you just can't fit a Trinex in Skull Woods with all the spikes there. And James also takes a death in Thieves Town trying to get... Oh, but he has a fairy. Okay. Iframes for the win.
Just go ahead and escape from the Lionel pin and head for everything else.
And that's the compass, and now James decides he does not want to try out the boss to get the green pendant.
Again, it's a pendant dungeon. Maybe you just don't want to sink the time into something like that. It's fair.
BDI's been working his way through Skullwoods. I haven't seen if he actually got anything. PH just pulled the mitts off of Zora Ledge. Mitts are really nice because now we have CAC Portal. We don't have to rely on Aga Portal. And we have King's Tomb, which is where PH is going.
King's Tomb, all those nice Dark Death Mountain checks.
Ice Palace. Hammerless Ice Palace, I'm sure that's top of these runners' minds.
But sometimes it's just in there.
And Freezors are always vanilla, so you do need a Fire Rod or Bombos to get past the first room of Ice Palace, but we found Bombos early. BDI, unfortunately, has not been to Hype Cave for his Samaria, so he has to do this statue in Middle Skull Woods the long way. Just for some bombs. And mind DM, you were saying about Dark Death Mountain. I think that's what PH is going to do here.
Convenient enough to have that save and quit point, but now that you're up here, there are 6 checks that you can go ahead and make. So let's see Super Bunny Cave first. This will be a couple of checks worth of information.
Another fetch quest.
That is a
Yeah,
very well-placed fire bar.
I was about to say the same thing. And BDI finds the flippers, and whoa, Hookshot Cave had the hammer. That is big. And the bow!
And a bow, sure, why not?
So we now have full clearable ice, subject to being able to beat the boss. Oh, PH did have Burna. I saw him. Yeah, he does. It was just missing on his tracker. Okay.
I was wondering if he had scrounged up a ferry somewhere, because without that walking in here on, even with walking in here on otherwise full health, would have been
Yeah.
spicy. The ferry iframes are long enough that you could probably get away with it if you started from 8. Maybe even if you started from 6, if your movement was otherwise really good, you took maximal advantage of the hook shot. It's possible.
And BDI actually went to Thieves' Attic. Very unusual play in Randomizer, because you can just rush the boss, and most runners don't want to take the time to go back here. But at the same time, with how long Risky and Terrible Gambits took to get the Moon Pearl, they've got to feel behind, so makes sense to do some plays you don't think your opponents are doing. Oh, hello, Mirror on Ether. So you have to go... That's actually awful. You have to first go to Hookshot Cave to get the hammer, then save and quit, then go all the way around Death Mountain in the Light World to get to Ether to get the mirror.
Ah, just because it's logical doesn't mean it makes sense.
And hey, you have her pot, and it's not necessarily fairies down there.
Not necessarily. Not in logical Randomizer, it's not.
And now the old question about, is the second item in Hera in Coffee Break, or is the small key self-locking? We can beat any enemy up here, and it is Helma King.
One of the more annoying enemies to find up here, because when he kind of hunkers down over that pit there, the hammer doesn't do anything. He gains pit state and shenanigans happen, because this is a very well-programmed video game.
And we have seen runners take that middle hole this week already when there's been a Helma King in this arena.
Yes, we have. Helma is substantially, I don't know, more dangerous than Moldorm, but dangerous differently. That swinging tail, if you try to stay back and dodge it, you can wind up in a situation where you kind of get knocked off the bottom edge there. It's not great.
So Simple Clip's now grabbing the mitts, BDI about to get his Samaria and Ice Rod. Okay, PH takes down Helma King. For a bottle, so the small key is self-locking. I believe that's a little bit more likely indoors than in VT for the Hera small key to self-lock. What are you doing, PH?
I'm not sure.
On the
He's
mountain.
just up on top of the mountain, turning circles, running left, running right.
I'm pretty sure Past the Potence has seen everything on the mountain at this point. Oh, and I guess there was a sword in ice because James is on Tempered.
James is happily running around on Tempered Sword.
Probably reason enough for PH to go there. We do have the means to do Swamp, and Swamp is also a crystal. So I have to imagine PH is here for Tempered because I don't think we got anything else particularly interesting in ice.
James is having a bit of an adventure here with Cold Stare buffs.
Yeah, this is just a vanilla Cold Stare fight. I mean, not quite NMG because you don't have Fire Rod, you have to use Bombos for the first phase, but Tempered Cold Stare here is pretty vanilla.
And you weren't even allowed to know in advance.
Oh. Always nice when the boss has the compass. So PH as the NMG runner had better make short work of that Cold Stare. Simple Clip showing us hammer pegs, which I don't believe.
No, the Simple Clips had been turning in Smith and is now back for Purple Chest.
Oh, I totally missed that. I assume Smith and hammer pegs weren't anything then.
Risky and Terrible Gambits do not have the hammer yet, so we don't know what hammer pegs is, and neither do they.
Oh, right. Because BDI is going to find it shortly in Hookshot Cave. Ah, there was the Tempered Sword, Ice Big Chest. By the way, if you are enjoying watching these runners suffer through pure misery in this seed for your entertainment, please do give them a follow. They are good runners. They are fun to watch even when they're not in misery.
Alright, BDI, where are we going? Because there was definitely some hesitation both on the initial save and quit and then on the choice of starting position.
Now look at how nicely PH kept all the puffs together.
That's what you would expect of a sub-90 runner.
Okay, shovel wasn't anything. I don't know why James felt it was faster to go back downstairs and hit the switch than to quick swap over to Boomerang.
I don't know. Sometimes you're just using up so much of your brain power on the enigmization portion that otherwise totally normal things kind of escape your thought process. I think we'll chalk it up to that.
Probably. I mean, this is kind of a tilting seed with the enemies. And BDI now heading into ice. Yeah, there indeed is our map check that Thebes is green pendant.
James doesn't want anything to do with hammering this Helmsword King. He's just gonna wing some bombs with the mask. It takes 5. So I assume James is backtracking this direction to go ahead and make the play into Turtle Rock. Oh, nice Stelphos Knight.
Seems reasonable. Another crystal. We still need the flute. The flute and the fire rod.
May well need the fire rod for this TR, depending on the key layout.
True. Because that's the same as in a regular open seed that, you know, as long as the game keeps feeding you small keys, you can keep going down without the fire rod, but...
Yeah, as long as it goes small key on the left, small key in chomps, and a vanilla big key, then potentially, depending on the subsequent small key layout, you can just go all the way. But the chances are really good that there is a small key or the big key over on the right-hand 2 fire rod locked checks, and you're going to be done fairly quickly. Doesn't always happen, though.
But yeah, one difference is since it's not necessarily Trinex at the bottom, if we can get to the bottom, there's a chance we can beat the boss. PH is now in Swamp. Well, Chain Chomp's room is certainly easier in Randomizer. And we're
Almost
locked out.
always easy. And yeah, there's the immediate lockout. Game says no. Go find your fire rod.
The best summary I've heard of Randomizer is making hard rooms easy and easy rooms impossible.
That checks out. Unless you're GFE or IB Karma, in which case, well, you just sit there and smile, while everybody else flails around miserably.
I believe GFE is racing on SpeedGaming 3 as we speak.
In point of fact.
Okay, so what's James gonna do? Get that green pendant? Smith's Chain? This looks like a Smith's Chain play. Nope. Graveyard Ledge?
Yeah, Graveyard Ledge is still outstanding, and it could be just going to start making the sweep through here as we look for things that are still required and perhaps not in convenient locations. There's BDI taking down that Cold Stare, by the way. I didn't see how well it went, but the fight you can walk away from with the crystal is a good enough fight.
And left side swamp didn't really get us anything. And PH is out. I don't think he even did Compass Chest. I'm pretty sure PH went straight to left side without doing Compass Chest.
I think so. It's choice.
There's PH and James's teammate Pichu's favorite item, the bug net on Bombos.
Looks like BDI is going to go ahead and make the run over here. The required double run around the mountain to go get this mirror off of the Ether tablet.
At least they're finally getting it, which is a big piece of the puzzle. Oh, and Simple Clips is heading to the pod boss, so this will be our first look at that. Oh, PH got the powder out of somewhere. I didn't catch that. Oh, and that was the fire rod and graveyard ledge. I didn't catch that either. That would explain why James is now in the back of Skull Woods. So we can beat any boss, and we just are looking for the flute so we can get to Meyer.
Humor is how the game fed us all of those medallions right off the hop, and yet the go mode item is the flute.
At least we don't care what Meyer medallion is.
It does have that advantage.
I imagine if you're James, you check Ped after finishing Skull Woods here, because Ped could be flute. You want to know that if it is. PH being very careful with his hammer pegs when you have a couple of chain chomps in the way.
buffs knocked onto the spikes, and you force them to take Butter Sword class damage, and they go away really, really quickly when you do that, as James is showing us.
And that's his 4th crystal, which puts him in the crystal lead. We are not checking Ped. Did we already check Ped and I missed it? I would think you'd want to make sure that Flute isn't on Ped, because it very well could be.
I don't think that PTP has checked that yet. I could be mistaken. Watching 4 runners at a time is rather difficult sometimes. But Simple Whips does finally have the mirror. BDI is going to find that Quick Turtle Rock lockout.
And K45 is just a shield. PH says no thank you. Lana Bean is happy.
Flip Heel may be happier.
BDI, unfortunately, following James's footsteps going through TR without the fire rod, so we know he won't get far.
At the very least, it's a nice quick lockout, and you don't wind up getting all the way to the big key door before finding out that finally there's something that you just can't do.
Nice bomb strats on Helma by Simple Clips.
Kind of using a bit of column A, a bit of column B here, trying to get this mask off.
Yeah, each bomb is worth 4 hammer hits, and there we go. And yeah, BDI forced out of TR there. So Risky and Terrible Gambits is going to be forced to Graveyard Ledge at some point. So past the Potence now converging on Swamp. Ooh, BDI didn't quite make it through Spike Cave. And hey, that's one thing you need to remember, that we have beaten Aga and we have the mirrors, so saving quitting in the Dark World will put you on the pyramid.
Looks like we're largely getting some convergence on Swamp here, plus or minus where BDI wants to go.
Yeah, and I still don't think Past the Potence did, Compass Chest. Oh, there was the powder. So we did not have the powder. We had not been to the back of Swamp until just now. Ah, Trinex.
That might explain why PH bailed the first time. He probably pulled the compass from somewhere and saw what the boss was and decided, you know what, it's not worth going to the back if I'm going to have to do the entirety of the back again.
Ooh, and Simple Clips takes a death there in Swamp. Oh, okay. He has a fairy. At least we do have that Tempered Sword. It makes Trinex not too bad.
A whole lot easier. PH also falling into that post-Aga with a mirror trap. Okay, here's Simple Clips on the southern loop. Let's see if this was anything. Bombs. It's a blue thing, but not the blue thing that would have made life miserable for BTB.
Yeah, Risky and Terrible Gambits has not managed to get themselves bailed out by any of their out-of-the-way checks, like Pod Boss or Back of Thieves. James is doing the big red bomb here.
It's a perfectly reasonable check. You split up that and let your partner go up to Turtle Rock with the Fire Rod, which is going to let PH get substantially further into this dungeon than James was able to.
And the flute could be absolutely anywhere except... Oh, okay, there we go. Go mode for Past the Potence at 106. And the fairy's giving out blue goo.
Right next to the Ganon fight, just in case. You'll take that.
Yeah, I was about to say the flute could be anywhere outside of Meyer area and GT, but hey, it's in Pyramid Fairy. So I think that's pretty much game unless something weird happens. But you never know what crazy stuff we could find in GT.
I was going to say, Drossi, it's Randomizer GT there. We call this mode the Great Equalizer for a reason, because sometimes it's just that much madness.
Oh yes, I saw an amazing gauntlet earlier today full of red Igors.
There was a game the other night with an Ice Trinex, and all 4 runners were fighting that Ice Trinex at the same time.
That's because GT Big Key was in Tile Room in that game.
Yes, it was. That didn't stop all 4 of them from fighting the Ice Trinex instead of making the easy check.
And PH making good use of that bug net. Having a fairy in reserve is a good idea in Randomizer.
I think James got a little afeared of that fire snake and just kind of tossed himself into the pit out of sheer habit.
Simple Clip's the only one of our runners who hasn't been to ice and doesn't have that Tempered Sword, finally going there. Looks like BDI... I don't know if it was too many sprites on the screen or what, but it seemed like before BDI went into Hammer Pegs, there was only 1 chain chomp on the screen, not 2. So what bosses have we not seen? We haven't seen Vidi, we haven't seen Blind, we haven't seen Landmos or Armos. Does that... Or Moldor.
Or Moldorm, yeah. Oh, we haven't seen a lot of bosses.
They've got to start showing up somewhere.
Oh, BDI got Finstash.
Have we seen 2 of anything besides Cold Stare?
I don't think so. Because we had the vanilla one and the one in Skull Woods, then...
Right.
We had Helma at the top of Tower of Hera. Who was in Eastern? I've forgotten who was in Eastern. Oh, the Moth, right? Yeah, the Moth.
Right. Who was in Pod?
I don't know. I think you've got me with that one.
Yeah,
I
because...
just don't remember who...
Simple Clips did it. I remember Simple Clips
yep.
doing it. It's on his tracker. Well, there's our Blind, sitting there in TR.
BDI has scoped out that Fire Rod and Graveyard Ledge now.
PH has his Burna out just to make sure this blind fight doesn't go south. Chat remind... our tracker, actually, Dark Sharna, reminding us it was Argus in Pod.
Okay.
And we're now listening to BDI's music. I have to look up in the race room what this MSU is, but it's certainly quite something. And we've got a vanilla Vidi here in Meyer. Oh, BDI gets wall mastered. I haven't seen any non-vanilla wall masters in this. I don't know how Doors Randomizer handles wall masters.
I'm not sure, but I've been wondering if that was a Doors change, because I've seen a lot of people really brazenly running through the final hell wave of the game, which in the VT Randomizer is definitely not recommended in case you bounce off something and then get wall mastered and get to do the entire climb over.
I have seen people get wall mastered in that room in Randomizer.
Exactly, but I've seen several people this week, including people who I trust to play this mode very, very well, who've just been happily marching right down Central and expecting to be carried on through, and it's worked every time. And I'm really not sure what this this MSU pack for BDI is, but I do kind of like it. I like it almost as much as BDI. Enjoyed using the fire rod to just burn all of those cold stare puffs right to the ground.
Much easier than having to use bombos. BDI says this is Mario Kart.
I'll admit, if it's not the original Mario Kart, that certainly wouldn't help me. Alright, that synth on the file select screen sounded a whole lot more Mario Kart than anything else I've heard out of this so far.
That sounded Zelda-like.
Oh, that absolutely was. Then this is just F-Zero.
Yeah, I was about to say. So BDI's about to get the flute. That will be go mode for Risky and Terrible Gambits. But about 10 minutes after past the Potence's go mode. So I feel like Moldorm... Well, I guess we never did see the boss of Thieves. Or the boss of Desert.
Humorously enough.
So maybe Moldorm's hanging out there. I was wondering if Moldorm 2 has to be vanilla at this point. But I don't think so. Because between GT, Desert, and Thieves, we have to have Armos, Lanmo, Moldorm, and 2 duplicates.
Alright, so James is going to finish up Turtle Rock here and should just be headed into GT. He is just going to have to climb the mountain after finishing off the fire. Yeah, that's an awfully nice bumper there on James's screen. You're not dashing through this room. Not unless you want to use your cape, anyway.
This MSU really does have a bit of everything.
It does.
James having a bit of trouble navigating the platform maze.
I'm not entirely sure. Did he ever hit the door switch to begin with?
I thought so, but...
Ah,
yeah.
okay, there we go.
Just making things interesting.
I just wondered if maybe he had gotten down to the bottom of the room and then remembered, oh wait, I forgot to hit that switch. Now what?
No, it was like he hit the switch and then went back up to the top and around the left side.
These are some fancy rollers.
Ah, good, a burn a dash. That is the solution to all of life's problems. EH trying to preserve Spooky there by tossing the block. Except that when you don't have the same enemies to bounce your fire rod shots off of, I'm not sure you can do Spooky and Randomizer.
It's certainly not guaranteed. I've seen it on some non-standard enemies, though. I did see Karma get it in one of CTC's games off of a shadow.
I mean, I think you could do it in that room. PH was just in the last room before you go upstairs to Vidi, because there you're doing it off of a torch, and the torch is going to be there.
Yep. But it can be a bit hit or miss based on the minimization in the switch room.
And James is off to GT.
After a quick check of the structural integrity of the mount.
It's still there.
It is indeed a rock. It is still there.
So we'll go over to his music just because he is in GT now. And this is appropriately dramatic GT music.
I'm always in for some appropriately dramatic GT music.
And Hope Room is giving us hope, though we still need a small key for the climb. Hope someone out there guessed one. Okay, so far not too bad with the kill rooms on the climb. I love how that guard can come out of the grass in the middle of the tower, because of course there's grass growing in the middle of the tower.
As with so many things in A Link to the Past, a wizard did it.
There we go. Perfect excuse for everything. Ganonball Z is still Ganonball Z.
I have asked Cody a time or two if he couldn't replace those with chickens or something, and he always tells me no.
That would be funny if they were firing chickens.
It'd be especially hilarious in Eastern Palace.
But then do the chickens get replaced with cannonballs?
It's Randomizer, I don't see why not.
Those red Tektites sure tank a lot of hits.
They do. That's it, James. Just use the go away button. That's what it's there for. I don't like this room. I want it to go away.
And with half magic, you have double uses of the go away button.
In fairness, there are a few things that it doesn't work on, but by and large, it gets the job done.
Like in this room! Okay, what boss is in Landmo 2? Ah, here's Armos. Wonder where silvers were for all that. Probably GT Basement.
Probably GT Basement. There are a ton of checks we just didn't make.
Oh, James wants to conserve his arrows, so he is doing Burna strats for Armos. But there is an arrow resupply in the next room. PH also using the go away button on the climb. BDI now gone ahead to TR to get his 7th crystal. Simple Clip's still working towards his 6th in Mire. PH having a much better time with that Armos fight. James doing the torches on Lamp to save his magic, but of course there's the refill in the next room. Ooh, a chomping torches too, that's fun.
Ooh, yeah.
Down to 2 hearts.
Hi there. Ooh, and a roller. I'm going to avoid that roller.
I'm surprised we didn't, you know, we're next to these chests. You don't want to look for silvers?
I would have been really tempted to open them just in case I was on Heart Piece 3 and would have gotten a refill off of it.
That too.
And if silvers came out, great.
I mean, I can understand if you're going through the bottom of the room and don't want to go to the top, but if you're in the top of the room anyway, okay. Hey, there's a small key. Now we don't need the small key out of the enemy.
When the rollers already forced you into the top of the room anyway, you're kind of there. You're priced in.
Oh, and hello, Eight-Eyed Moldorm. Oh, PH did the climb without a key, so he just got bailed out by that chest. Dang.
Oh my. In fairness, he had time. He could have gone back down and collected a key, and RTG is not going to make him pay for that mistake, just as the rando has not. But there's no way for him to know that right now.
Yeah. I think we need to give him a hard time about doing a climb without the key. It's like one of those Dos Equis memes. I don't always climb GT, but when I do it without a small key.
Well, as an NMG runner, he just expects the keys to be in those locations, and so they are. James is done Aga 2, Simple Clips is done with Misery Mire, still has to head up to TR.
And down goes Aga 2 for PH.
Now, PH is probably going to make me look like a total fool for saying this, but if you want to see a good Ganon fight, the bottom left-hand corner of your screen should provide one starting in about 10 seconds.
I mean, this is the NMG way to do it. Tempered Sword Silverless. Also of note, the barbacoa burrito is my favorite Ganon quote.
It is a very tasty quote, isn't it? I knew it. PH, please.
He's got berries. Of course,
He doesn't have those in NMG.
Of course, the silvers were in the tower. BDI in a bit of a health situation here. There was absolutely a roller in that Samaria platform maze that kind of did a number on him. But go ahead and get your GGs in chat for James FNX, the first of these runners to cross the bridge. With PH close behind.
And that will seal the deal. Get your GGs in chat for Fibonacci as well. That is past the Potence taking the game. That is going to spare them from relegation, and that is going to unfortunately spell the end, but for a game that is now going to have a meaning only of personal pride for Risky and Terrible Gambits. They are going to be relegated after this season.
Let's check the race room. Okay. Looks like R2G wants to play out the seed because they've acknowledged James and PH. Let's see if we can get James and PH in here in the meantime. And the ped was just pocket change. Okay.
Well, that's not anything you need.
So BDI going to Hope Room. He will get his big key very quickly. And we are joined by James FNX. GG.
GG's. I'm sorry you had to see some of that play, but
It's Randomizer, it happens to everybody.
It's Randomizer, it's late at night. It's I mean, it's late for some people. I'm old.
And we have Fibonacci with us as well. GG, buddy.
Yo, GG's. Oh boy, Randomizer. Huh.
So did you guys not want to check ped?
We talked about it, but
I forgot to do it after Skull. That's the big thing. If I was going to check, it would be after Skull. And
right. That was what raised my eyebrows.
I mean, I think it's, worst case scenario. Like, we had enough other stuff that we could probably keep doing that I would have probably just done it after, like, I would have just gone from TR and then just done that next probably, because I would have had to just clean up a dungeon at some point anyway, and James probably would have started doing some of the other remaining open checks.
Yeah, and I was so focused on getting to Big Bomb to see if PH needed to rush over and do Skull or not. That I forgot that I was there and to check that while I was there.
Well, Big Bomb paid out for you.
Sure did.
You want to guess what play, though, really paid out in terms of giving you a meaningful lead that you then never relinquished?
Was it checking Zora Ledge?
Nope, it was before that.
Oh.
Before that?
That was super early in the seed.
Dying and not being able to check Zora Ledge?
It was remembering to use Quake in the back of Eastern.
Oh, they just forgot about Dead Rocks. Yeah.
Yeah, they got to that room and noped out. And only did it as the last location, so that ate up quite a bit of time for them.
Yeah, well, you saw, like, we were trying to remember what dropped a full magic, because I got in there and it's like, oh, a Dead Rock's in the back. Oh, crap.
And like, so I picked up a full magic somewhere. Around. I think it was the critter pack that had magic drops, but just get one small one and you can grab the pot out of the back and you'll be okay. But no, not to be.
Yeah, so we were talking about. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I just said, well, you made it through in any case, so you didn't get totally screwed in there.
Well, and I mean, we were thinking so the idea there was it could have been maybe a glove, and so the thought was, well, maybe it's a glove for back of escape. So you probably saw I was stealing the key to head through escape to the back, thinking maybe the answer is there's something progressive back there, and like I don't know, that could have allowed me to like keep moving, and also would allow me to grab some magic from the front. And then James is like, nope, get out. And I think
we never did see Zelda's cell from anyone.
Nope.
Oh, that's funny.
It was on our mind. It was on our mind as we were like looking for this flute, but it was well down the list of cleanup checks.
Yeah.
Like if it wasn't Big Bomb, I was going to check Zelda's cell. So that's literally the only opportunity we would have had to get there.
Right, and by that point you had the key from the back of escape anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's there were a couple different times. So I remember, actually, this is a while back, talking to my NDM who gave some good advice about Randomizer, but one thing that he said, and I was just like laughing about it, was the dashes down in Turtle Rock. I actually heard your voice in my head being like, they're like, it loves putting something stupid there, and I'm dashing and I hear it. After I dashed, I went, uh-oh. I was lucky there was nothing there. But I was literally like, on the moment, if you look, like, there's like a moment where my eyes kind of widen, because I'm like, I really hope I didn't just screw myself.
Shout out to that Stealthos Knight trying to grab the rock to actually get into the rock.
That was a good one.
Yeah. But yeah, I think...
GG on avoiding relegation, so we haven't specifically said that to you yet.
Oh, thank you, yes.
I don't get to have the honor of having the most 1 in 13s in league history. Shrug.
Well. What? I thought the Immortals went 2 and 12.
We went 1 in 13 that season. We would have gotten a tiebreaker race if we gotten 2 and 12.
Oh, okay.
But we went 1 and 13.
I mean, 2 Pearl, 3 points has now done it twice.
That's true. That's true.
As their new team name shows.
Oof.
Yeah. That was funny. I cracked up when I saw that. Yeah, I mean, this is obviously Randomizer's like kind of a classic league mode, so You just got to be ready for it. All things considered, it wasn't really that gnarly. Like there wasn't too much like really nasty. Like I think the only thing I think that was really bad ended up being that room in Thieves that killed
Yeah.
both of us. That didn't have
Oh
anything.
yeah, right. You didn't quite make it to the vanilla Big Peach chest.
No, no. I just well, and the funny thing, I survived and then managed to get myself killed on the dash to the left, which was great.
Right.
What
But it was
did
just
get
like,
you there, by the way?
I think an Octorok shot. There was an Octorok, and I was like watching it, but then I stopped paying it. I just stopped paying attention for a half second because I was like, okay, I think I'm safe because it had moved. One of them had moved out of the way, and then the other one sniped me shooting upwards as I dashed by.
That would do it. So he was hiding under that ledge there. All right.
Yeah, and I was only on a half heart because I'd already taken a couple of friendly. And the dumb thing is I could have. I think I had the cane by that point. I could have cane, but I was like, oh, I'm sure I'm fine. Certainly this won't be a problem. And again, like PH luck sack, right?
Yeah, let's talk about that small key upstairs in GT.
Yeah, that was no. I knew. Look, there's a very, very, very hidden part of the logic that nobody else has ever read that says that there was going to be a small key there. I knew it the whole. Trust me, for sure, it was guaranteed. It wasn't an incredibly stupid decision that I got bailed out by.
See, I said it was just the seed knew you were an MG, so it knows where to put keys for an NMG runner.
Yeah. Well, and you saw, I actually I got the one key and I was like, oh my gosh, thank goodness. And then I autopiloted into the next room without even killing the popo to get the other key. And then I was like, wait, that didn't work.
It still doesn't work that way.
Yeah. that was not slick.
And then I said, hey, watch this great Ganon fight in the bottom left-hand corner of the restream. And what did you do? You immediately hugged the pig and used your fairy. You don't have a fairy in NMG, PH.
Well, so yeah, that was it was a good start, but then it's the bad bat. I'll play a little bit of that. Was the bats got me? I was like, oh yeah, no, I'll be fine. And then I realized in the moment, wait, this is not going to be what I'm expecting. And then I panicked and died. The good news is that yeah, I had the fairy. James and I had been discussing, and James was like, "You're going to finish before me," and I was like, "No, James, I'm not," and I just guaranteed it. That was really all that was.
Yeah, we get in the fight, and I'm like, I can't 1-in-1 reliably. You can. You'll probably beat me in this fight, and then that happened.
All part of the plan.
Meanwhile, BDI is about halfway through Phase 4 here, so he should be joining us shortly. Yeah, I guess since it's their last week, they figured might as well finish out this crazy seed and see what the climb's about. I don't blame them.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're signing up to do Randomizer, you're wanting to do whatever wackiness, however many rollers it's going to put upstairs in GT, however many Lionels we can fit in one room.
And there goes Ganon for BDI, so get your GGs in for him sticking this out.
And that answer was we crammed them all into one of the Thebes Town lobby rooms, and there were quite a few of them there.
Yeah.
Seriously. No lies were told.
See if we can get BDI to join the chat in here. He probably needs a moment to catch his breath after that.
Yeah, probably.
Cannot powder an anti-fairy cluster, unfortunately.
Nope.
As much as Simple Clips decided to try a couple of times.
I don't even think you can powder them after they break up, right?
I don't think so.
Oh, really? I actually didn't know that.
nice triple there to finish off Aga 2.
Just gonna go ahead and burn that refill now. Makes sense. We're about to go fight the pig.
Yeah.
And while we're watching Simple Clips drop in, again, shout-outs to our trackers, Darak Sharna and Talon. We really appreciate you guys in this, especially with 4 screens, as Mind DM said earlier. It's hard to watch 4 screens.
Yeah, thank you so much. And also, Drowsy Mindium, thank you both so much to the two of you. I'm really looking forward to catching this back. You guys are both amazing. I always appreciate hearing even just one of you, so 2 is a treat.
It was a lot of fun to come, I'll say that.
Yeah, this is one that I kind of had on my short list of games that I wanted to get. And did you guys wind up moving this back by half an hour? Because I feel like it was originally a 10 Eastern start. And then
PDI offered 10 Eastern. I get off work. I'm supposed to get off work at 10 Eastern. Don't tell my boss. So I asked to push it back a half an hour.
Okay, I wondered about that because I thought I had originally seen 10 and I thought, man, I've got a thing that that would be cutting it really close for me to get into the booth, and then I saw it at 10:30 and I said, I can do that. Because normally Wednesday is not a great night for me to do commentary because I've got a standing engagement that usually doesn't end until about 10 Eastern or a little later.
Well, I, for one, am glad that worked out then, because that's, I mean, especially, like, I was saying, like, for Randomizer, I literally can't imagine someone I'd rather hear from.
Here we're joined by BDI. GG.
GG's.
Hey,
GG's big guy.
game.
As your partner is now on phase 4, and hopefully therefore joining us soon as well. There we go. Get your GGs in for Simple Clips. Simple Clips asking in the race room about where the silvers were. No, the silvers were in one of the 19 checks in the basement that no one looked at. Actually 20, because there was the big chest as well. One of those 20 checks that none of you looked at because the big key was so nicely stashed in Hope Room. Hope you at least appreciated not having to do GT Basement after everything else.
Yeah, the one nice. The seed had plenty of nice things. It was actually, honestly, on the tamer side of Randomizer, with a $0 cape and plenty of safeties.
Oh yeah, and since PH is now mentioning this in the race room, we didn't even give you a hard time about it. You did the climb without a key.
Yeah, that was the like my Indian was saying, the NMG climb. It's it's all part of the. it was preordained.
We are joined by Simple Clips as well. Good game.
Yo, GG's.
Good game.
GG's.
So, as we were discussing before you guys got here, unfortunately, the noping out of Eastern cost you guys, and you never really recovered from it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I just missed
the noping out was just forgetting that Quake can kill the what do you call the little statue guys?
Dead rocks.
Dead rocks.
Dead rocks.
And now what I really should have done is I think I had some medallions when I went in there. I should have just in the dark threw one out. And I would have unknowingly killed a dead rock, probably. Did I have Quake when I went in there with no lamp?
Yeah, I think everyone had Quake pretty early. I can't remember where it was.
Quake was in Saw's closet, so I would presume so.
Probably doing that on the way to Eastern.
Yeah, so if I had thought to just throw out a medallion in the dark, then we would have beaten Eastern before we realized that we could beat Eastern.
Yeah, I guess on the Aga Tower climb when you were forced to use Quake was when you realized it.
Yeah.
I saw the dead rock first, and then I said, "There's a dead rock here." He's like, "Huh?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, we can kill it with Quake."
Yeah, that's tough because then you're doing the climb, you check the pyramid ledge, and then you go, well, shoot.
At least the climb
Yeah.
was still needed.
Yeah.
Yes. So we were talking about it. I think you could try to double store a water walk, maybe. But
Yeah, I think you can get the glove, but with Pearl being an Eastern,
yeah,
so
And
you get
even
the-
then, Hammer was in Hookshot Cave.
Hammer was in
and-
Hookshot Cave, and Mitts were on Zora Ledge.
And the other glove was in Pod.
The other
so-
glove's in Pod, so you still had to, you still would have had to climb, no matter what.
yeah. You know how it goes, though. You're in the middle of a scene, and you just start I'm disaster fantasizing that somehow it's I figured this out, and then the hammer is just somewhere really accessible. It's like in
the chest we couldn't get to in Thieves Town is clearly
Yeah.
flute or a fire rod or something.
Exactly.
GG's again. Thank you, Calms. Thank you, Trackers. BDI Symbol Clips, GG's. I'll play you again Friday. And thanks, everyone.
Yeah. Friday, you guys will be playing just for fun, so hopefully you can just have some fun with it.
Yeah, I was really glad to.
Tie
Oh, sorry. Go ahead,
the
BDI. I
standings.
apologize.
We're playing to tie the standings again, I think, because we were tied on standings going in. Now you've won one, so if we win the next one and go 1-1, we remain tied in the standings.
Right, but when it comes to relegation, past the Potence has the tiebreaker is the thing.
Yeah.
So, yes, obviously it's better to say you finish the season with 2 wins than with 1 win. So
Yeah.
there is that.
It's
But
also
relegation
fun-
has already been determined.
It's fun to play with your friends. It's rando.
That's
That's
the real
what it-
point of League, right? It's not even when you sit down and play the quote-unquote serious games, it's all the little co-op practices and late-night nonsense that you get up to with your teammates.
1,000%. I could not agree more.
Bring back Pilot Spoiler.
Oh, okay.
See, if you crush me again, sure.
Oh Lord.
We kept
I was also
throwing
going to
that
say
against people, and we kept getting wrecked by it. It was great. We had so much fun with it, though.
there's a lot of great ways to play, and that's definitely. I mean, it's also fun when you can just turn your brain off. But yeah, I was really pumped to play BDI and Simple Clips. I've gotten a chance to work with both of them across a lot of different kind of learning with both of them on a variety of things. So coming in and having us all get the chance to play in League, I thought was really cool.
Yeah, and I was saying at some point during the restream that while my team last season played you guys PTP in the playoffs in a best of 3, we had to get through risky and terrible Gambits during the regular season, and those were closer games than we expected going in, and they've only improved since. I've been very impressed. Invitational League is not easy.
No, it's not. And also, just because you mentioned, I'm going to be fair, since you mentioned that we did happen to win the Pilot Spoiler, your team still beat ours in that playoff match, and I'm going to put that out there for into the Aether, because that was a great series, but you guys deservedly won. That was super fun.
And that's when you learned to carry through on the check that you were about 5 tiles away from. In Randomizer.
Yeah. That's what I get. Such is life.
It made for some very, very amused teammates after the fact, I think.
Oh, I bet.
I'm sure there's a part of Garrison that still has not forgiven me for forgetting that Argus was a thing that could have been on that GT climb, but was not.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, and you did but you got the hover. That was the
No,
thing,
I didn't.
right?
No, I didn't. I
you
tried
have
for
to go
about
back
4
for it?
minutes, and then I bailed and killed Aga and went and got the hook
Wow.
shot off.
And still won.
Ledge.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because we did literally everything else in the game.
It was an experience. That was a fun season.
That was a great series. These are all, they're so fun. League is the best.
And I'm just personally happy we did the logical Randomizer this season because I think it did make Randomizer a bit more interesting. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it.
As
Yeah,
an
it's
observer,
nice.
Go ahead.
Oh, it's nice when there's spots where you could need items to go through the enemies instead of it just being, haha, funny spike.
Very much so. I think my one detraction from it as an outside observer is I really dislike when you get those hyper-aggressive red guards over water, and in the regular style Randomizer, if you start on water, you're stuck on it, and if you start on land, you're stuck on it. But in this, they can just chase you right into the water, and, well, if you're trying to swim and they're not, yeah, that's not exactly a fair fight.
I remember I was shouting about the guards walking on water in swamp because I did not expect that. Like, no, the guards are armed with glitches too.
Nice.
Where did you find the boots? Well, I started with them. Where did you find the boots? But yeah, thank all of you for putting on a wonderful show for us this evening. Drossi, I'm pretty sure we have run out of games for tonight, but we're going to have more tomorrow.
Yeah, and just to highlight one here, in terms of playing for stakes, at 2 o'clock Eastern on SpeedGaming main channel, we have Noble Foxes versus Tam's Triple Potato Pouch, and that's going to be a very straightforward winner goes to the playoffs, loser is done for the season. Just straight up or down. Winner go home. So that should be a really fun match. A lot of really good runners in that. Hayfield Babe, an obscure life form against Brogor and Thelaine. So, got a former main tournament champion and a former league champion playing in that match. And one of them's going to be done for the season. So definitely tune in for that. And other than that, keep an eye on the schedule. We still have a ton of both invitational and open league matches remaining this week, and then playoffs will come after that. And thank you again to our runners. And Mind DM, I'm really glad we could do this. It's been way too long.
Yeah, I feel like I've been saying that to several people this season. Hey, I haven't got to do any commentary with you in quite a while, but we finally got back into the booth together, and this was fun.
Well, it's been nice seeing you back on comms, too.
Yeah, life got in the way for a little while, but it's nice to get back under the headset and do a little talking.
It's also pretty freaking late for some of us right now, so we should probably call it here.
Yeah, thank you all out there in chat land. I hope you were all entertained by this Randomizer seed. There will be plenty more coming up in the next handful of days as we wrap up week 7 of the Link to the Past Randomizer League. But for now, we are out of here. So have a great rest of your day or night, whatever it is for you.
Yeah, and we will send you over to SpeedGaming 3 where they're doing some Super Metroid map rando. So we hope you enjoy that, and thanks for watching here.